I don't care if we lost that. Because, like, I hit the funniest highlight on that biograph by accident. I was trying to drift off, like, into the void so he would try and execute into it. I didn't know he would actually do it, though. And he actually did and got stuck. I did what I had to do. Alright, time to do an obligatory Subspace ability video. Yeah, we are talking about Subspace E. Let's just get right into it. You know why I'm talking about a random Subspace ability. Mist Rush is an ability that turns Subspace into a mist for 1.5 seconds and allows him to move quickly in this form. The mist is somewhat noticeable, albeit it makes Subspace super hard to see for the most part. On the windup, Subspace slams the ground, which if caught by that hit, does 36 damage. Then in the mist, Subspace can run into an enemy to do 10 damage and 20 ticks of poison damage, which also happens with the initial cast. The windup takes 0.6 seconds to get out, so it's not an instant hit. The mobility Subspace gets is a 25% increase in bounce, aka jump height, a push force of 20, which I still have no clue what it means. I tried figuring it out, and apparently the push force is a set velocity added to many moves, which acts as a set speed unaffected by statuses like slow or haste. As to why it is set to 20, don't ask me, as the 20 makes zero sense to me when testing how far Sub E goes, but I guess the velocity being set to 20 just makes you go a certain speed in the code. Sub E's cast also gets full, slow, and bound so you can't move, and it has a steep 14-second cooldown before being used again. Oh, and grounded prevents you from using it for the duration. Oh, and I forgot to mention this, but you also flow in the air depending on where you are with Sub E, so yeah, I forgot to mention that. Sub E is a move almost no one really talks about, and there's realistically a good reason. Unlike M2 where it is an incredibly versatile move, or Q where its use is rather unique to Subspace's identity for tank busting, Mistwalk is just a mobility move. Every character has a mobility move. Well, except Vinesap because her passive is in the mobility. Why did I write that in the script? What? But that's also the thing. Some characters love having a mobility move for different purposes. Sword's Lunge is a great mobility tool as it allows Sword to close in on targets much quicker to force his aggression onto someone. Rocket's Liftoff is a great mobility tool that allows Rocket to use it in self-defense thanks to no self-damage up close, and it can allow Rocket to escape dangerous scenarios. Katana's Split Sword Sunder is a great mobility tool as it does fucking everything. Basically, every mobility move benefits a character in a weakness or to improve a strength. Subspace's E allows him an escape option that doesn't involve self-damage like M2, and allows you to get more safe getaways to find a safe position or to escape any dangers. The main difference is, while M2 is far more available due to its short cooldown, E is a lot more useful for escapes despite having nearly double the cooldown. So, in terms of Subspace escaping bad situations, M2 is usually one you'd use to avoid situations you can live and escape without sustaining too much damage. E is when you can die and need to escape where M2 can't work, mostly if you're low or some other scenario like being grappled by Katana. However, E works even outside of simply being an escape tool. Mist Rush allows you to save time on stupidly long rollouts, like on the first point of Teapots, Roblox Arcade, Bandland, and more. Most maps don't usually need you using this as a rollout tool, but if your team is already contesting a conquer point or you need to rush in to contest, this is another way where his E really shines in its movement. Keep in mind, E isn't affected by slow or haste debuffs, so if a boombox is speeding you up with his ult or conveyor, it might be best to not E in small situations like that. Oh, and this is a minor thing, but due to the fact E has somewhat decent damage if you connect the initial hit, it can be a funny way to kill low HP dives or enemies onto you, since 36 damage combined with the mist damage is actually not horrible against enemies. And I don't think I need to explain this, but don't use his ability for primarily damage purposes. The mist does the same damage as a direct sub M1, and literally doing 10 damage for 20 poison ticks and potentially taking damage because you've run into someone with this move is not worth it at all, unless it's a very fringe scenario. So if it's a habit, just try to stop it. That's the best advice I could give. And yeah, I genuinely have nothing else to add to this move. Sub E is a move almost no one really talks about as well, but it's not because it has nothing going on, but because its use feels obvious. But at a higher level, Sub E works in tandem with his M2 as a survival tool, and in general scenarios, it's just a great way to escape sticky situations. I am being dead serious, that is literally all there is to this move. It's very underwhelming to talk about. I don't know how to end this video. I did not plan for this.